Hey, so
Hi,
glad to
how are
see
you?
you. I'm
So
great.
glad to
How are
see
you doing?
you.
What's going on this week? You said, hey,
It's crazy. Like if I turn, you will see that I have boxes all over this room because
moving
I
is worst. It always
it
seems like
is.
such a great idea. And then once you
Wait,
get past, like, what am I doing?
and it's not just a move. It's my boyfriend moving into my apartment,
Okay.
then me packing my apartment and us moving into a house. So in
Oh,
the middle there's a storage unit and
oh,
a
the
lot of
moving.
yeah, so it's like
I've been there. It's a lot. The whole
well, you know,
and the merging with the boy and their stuff, and you're trying to just purge their stuff without them
I'm on a
noticing.
campaign for that, Barbs.
Right.
And we're getting rid
Um,
of your bed, right?
yeah. And it's not really a question. That's more of a statement, honey. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
great. Well, I'm glad to have you on. I know it's a busy week.
Thank you.
So let's get to it. You and me can catch up about life stuff, hopefully when things settle down for you. Although I keep saying that to my husband. We keep saying, hey, when
What
things
happened?
settle, when is that? Never. So I just stopped
Uh-uh.
saying that.
No, that's why I was like, I'm not going to postpone this because next week there's going to be something else. We
And I'm
need
just
to learn to dance, you know?
Well, totally. And that's what I do. And, some people like to do some preparation work for it, but me, I like to just jump right in. And I know you're like that too. We haven't
Yes, ma'am.
really chatted much, but from your personality, I see online, I know we're very similar that way. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm loving the Instagram lives
Yes.
because at the beginning, when I was doing these, I was like, okay, we'll do it by Zoom and then I'll video and then I'll edit it and then I'll add this special whatever at the end.
No.
And I wasn't doing it because it wasn't
No.
perfect. So I
No.
just, and I know how that is. You just procrastinate. You're like, oh, it's not perfect. So I'm just going to do nothing. And I'm going to sit here. And now it's like,
Oh
it's
my.
live, push live, whether you screwed up or did anything, you just put it up there, So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm
Exactly.
just
I'm
loving
super
that.
excited because my mother just joined from Mexico. So I just
Hey,
want to say,
hi,
Mwah! Hola,
mom. Hi,
mama.
mom.
Yeah, that's super
Okay,
cute.
so we have about 17 people on here with us. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited
Hi.
you're here. I'm just loving these Instagram lives to bring people together. If anybody has
Yep.
any, jot them down. We'll try to get to them if we can. So Pamela joining me today is a recovery coach and a life coach, which I love because I know you have such a great outlook on life in general. I have read a little bit about you. We have lots in
Thank
common.
you.
So you woke up with shingles in your ear, which of course most of us know that is Ramsay Hunt. Dun, dun, dun. But of course you didn't know at the time.
No.
That sucks. I got shingles. That'll be a couple weeks. It'll be done probably, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, your story about being unable to talk, work, function normally, as everybody here knows, just throws your entire life for a loop. So why don't you tell us a
Yep.
little bit about yourself and your story?
So thanks. Thank you so much, Barbie. So I am a recovery coach, and just to be clear, that means recovery from addictions, not physical therapy recovery type of thing. And so, I mean, this was a new type of recovery that I had to embark myself on when I found myself one morning having, in fact, a very, very powerful just pain in my ear. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like swimmer's ear. I had been swimming. I'd just
Yeah,
come
sure.
back from Mexico from being in the
Sure.
ocean for a while. I know, but even as a kid, I never got like ear infections.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
thought,
Weird. Yeah.
what, what? So I went to my doctor who said, oh, no, it's just an ear infection. And in fact, it's not inside, it's outside, which was very strange because, in fact, my boyfriend had taken me there because I had woken up that morning feeling dizzy. And I thought, this can't be just
Mm-hmm.
an outer ear infection
Right.
if
You
I'm
would feel it.
dizzy.
Yeah.
And so that was the very first time that I realized my doctor didn't really know what she was talking about, but you don't know that. You just trust your
Yeah. Of course
doctor,
not.
right? So
Yeah.
she sent me home with an ointment, and voila. And 3 days later, the ointment, or so I thought, was giving me a worse reaction because now my ear was like Shrek, It's like
Right.
it
So
was
tough,
big
big.
and puffy and
Okay.
achy. And I was at that point feeling like legit vertigo. Like I felt, and this is really ironic because obviously as a recovery coach and from addictions, well, actually it's not obvious, but just for your viewers to know, I am a recovered alcoholic. And so I stopped drinking many years ago. And so going back to a sensation of I'm drunk, because that is
Right.
what vertigo feels like,
Right.
was really disturbing. Like I
Yep.
could not walk. When I laid down, I had the spins. And it was this mental anxiety that tells you, you know, you're just not going to wake up after a night partying and be okay. I mean, whatever
Right.
the hangover could be, you
Yeah.
know, would not be okay. But eventually your room would stop spinning. Here it wasn't like that. And so I went back to the doctor and she said, "Oh, it's shingles." And I said, "What's shingles?" Like I'd never heard of it. And
Yeah.
so she explained the, you know, varicella virus, chicken pox, and so on. And she said, "Well, at least you don't have a phase palsy." And I thought, oh, Bell's palsy could be in the question. Like what?
Yeah.
And I remember going home with the vertigo and the pain and the dizziness, and I had started the tinnitus. I just didn't realize it. Like there was the ringing in my ear.
Right.
But I remember going to bed that night and saying to James, you know, my partner, at least my face is moving. That would suck. And I woke up in the morning with my face paralyzed. So it's like, okay,
Oh,
you know, okay. And so,
great.
yeah, so,
Lucky me. Yeah.
and I mean, that is just such a mind fuck,
Totally.
to, yeah, to wake up and half of your face doesn't work. And I, you know, I think that that's really where the journey began, Barbie, because, you know, the story could be easily told by saying, you know, and then I did this, and then I did that, and then I went to acupuncture, and then but
Hmm.
the truth is, it was such a beautiful teaching journey and continues to be. Every day there's something new.
Every day. Yeah.
Every day there's something new. Because this was like 6 months ago, something like that. And I realized the first thing I had to really work with was my own head, you know, and this was a little bit like beginning the journey of addiction, where you realize that I can either like be my own worst enemy, or I can be my best
Hmm.
friend and my best advocate. You
Hmm.
know, I quickly
Hmm.
learned that my doctor didn't have all the answers, and that I had to
Hmm.
find my own, really just my own inner guidance, tell me what the next step was regarding doctors. You know, what rang true,
Yeah.
what didn't ring true. In fact, my doctor
Hmm.
said, "I don't know if you're ever going to move your face again." And even in that
Hmm.
first terrifying, you know, encounter with my face is not moving, she would say things like, um, you know, in the future, maybe we can, you know, talk about eye closing surgery and restore it. And, you know, there's something in your head and in your body that just says, what the freak are you talking about? Like,
Totally.
what?
Yeah.
Right? You know,
Yeah.
and
You're like,
I really wouldn't.
I had swimmer's ear. I had swimmer's ear.
Exactly.
That's all
What
I
are you
thought I
talking about?
had.
You know, and I mean, my eye was really really open, and my mouth, like, it's almost normal now, but it was, I mean, completely closed. If your viewers go to my
Yeah.
channel and go and look, there's a video where literally, I mean, my face is just dropped. And so, through, honestly, to the people who love me, you know, both my partner, my mom, my dad, my brother, my son, my coaches, my mentors, my sponsor, I had such a network of beautiful people that literally sat me down and said, breathe and mind the words in your head. Like,
Hmm.
you are going to be okay.
Hmm.
And so thus begun really like a multi-prong approach. Like, okay, my body, how do I take care of my body? And I try to put as much as I could on pause. Like, I couldn't work, not just because of the vertigo, but because in addition to being a coach, one of the things that I do is voice acting. And so
Oh.
I do, right. So I do voiceovers, right? Like
Hmm.
that's where the money comes from. My
Hmm.
coaching is obviously still my career, but that's less of an income scenario than and so all of a
And
sudden, you know,
unfortunately, sometimes passion doesn't pay the bills. You know, like,
yeah, I mean,
you know,
not
the
like that.
landlord doesn't say, "You're so passionate. It's okay."
It's okay. I'm glad you're out there helping drugs like you. Like, well,
Yeah.
and so and so that was scary because I had to call my agent. I have an agent who represents me and
Hmm.
say, I can't do the session that we have next week. And it's like, for, you know, like, I'm the voice for Dairy Queen in Spanish.
Oh.
Like, that was a big deal. And so she was
wow,
like,
you're
when
very,
right,
very cool. Totally. And I would imagine that you're not the person to bail on stuff, right? It's not like, you know, if you have a commitment, I can tell you're like, we are there, right?
And so, and here's the other thing, babe, that I didn't have the information that people were asking of me on any level. Because she kept saying, well, when can we reschedule?
Right.
And that was really the question. Like my mouth was falling and they're saying when. And what you want to scream is, I don't fucking know when. I don't know if. And so that's where, back to this process of, you have to be the best guardian of the words in your head. You have to make a decision what you're going to allow into your heart, because I truly believe that this journey was here to just teach me once more, like in many other areas of my life, that I am an active participant in my healing. That, of course, there in my case, I call my higher power God, but that's where my faith needs to come into place, and for me to say there's a bigger plan. And I don't know when or how or what this is going to look like, but just help me be with the teaching that I need to learn right now, you know, and then do
just such a lesson. Sorry, I interrupted you, but
no,
I was the same too. Like, there's a reason that this is happening. And I talked to Kyle, his name is, last week, and we're on the same path where it's like, what do I need to learn? I mean, I'm not saying, and I know you weren't the same, where we're like, okay, this is fantastic, I'm sure I'm learning a lesson.
No.
Like, when people ask me that, it's not like, you know, when you go into something with joy and positivity, that doesn't necessarily mean it's sunshine and rainbows. That means that we're like, hey, okay, this has happened.
Yeah.
It sucks. I can't do anything about it. So what am I going to take from it? And for me, it was like using my voice. And, you know, my mom was like, well, you're always talking. It's not, and I'm, well, no, because I wasn't sticking up for myself, wasn't using my voice. Very interesting to me now that it's led to this. And now I'm meeting people like yourself and people that are helping me open up my space, even 6 years later. Like, you never know what the lesson's going to be.
And what you're doing is so valuable, because you're giving people who normally wouldn't have a voice and who would normally be just thinking that they're so isolated and full of kind of, you know, smallness and shame about their malaise and everything else. You're giving us a voice, and you're giving us a way to connect. So that's, I mean, thank you and bravo for you, because
I love it. I do have to say, it is kind of selfish too, because I am loving it, but I always appreciate that, because that's my goal. I felt alone a lot in my life, even Bell's palsy aside, and always having people around and stuff. So to me, one of my main goals in life in general is just like, we're not alone. Like, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, in Texas or here or there. Like my friend Reem that I'm buddies with now, she's in Lebanon. Like, that's nuts that we can use social media for such positive things, which you're doing in your coaching business as well. You know, a business like you have yourself, and the message that you put out, you wouldn't be able to get to such a broad market without it's fantastic. I think a lot focus on all the negatives of social media, but like, it's so many good things.
Yeah, it really is. And it boils down to, I mean, the commonality is, look, this sucks. I'm not pretending, and you're not pretending, and none of us are saying that this is either easy or pleasant or that we're, you know, I mean, when I say I'm grateful for it, it's a little, when I would hear people that struggled hard with their addiction and lost a lot in their lives, and then in recovery, they would say, look, I'm really grateful. Like, I wouldn't change my addiction for anything. And I remember saying, bullshit, you know, but that's not true, because it allows them, and I say it now, I mean, I love the fact that I'm a recovered alcoholic. I love my addiction, because it almost killed me, not once, but many times. And it made me lose everything. But thanks to that, I got the chance to embark myself in a journey of growth. And when shit like this happens, I get asked the question again, how are you going to show up for yourself? You know, what are you going to do? And so, like I was saying, the body part was vital. I did end up, my brother and my son are deep into health. The both of them are coaches, and they're very much into nutrition. And so they were like, okay, anti-inflammatory diet, you know.
Perfect.
I had two or three girlfriends that were incredible. They literally just sent me like this like pharmacy of natural supplements that probably cost them hundreds and hundreds of dollars that they specifically researched for shingles and anti-inflammation. So there was a lot of that, which is very hard for me because I'm not very disciplined at all.
Oh.
Yeah. It was like, what? But James, my partner, was taking a lot of care for, I mean, he was taking care of me in the way, like I couldn't even walk to the kitchen without falling. It was, I couldn't drive. I couldn't. So, and then again, it's like, and then the spiritual component, just people helping you, when it feels really dark. I mean, I have, Martin John friends, my friend Adi, who did sessions with me long distance, my sponsors. I mean, just amazing amount of people. And one of my friends, who also came to bat at the beginning, well, Sandy and Lauren, they were like acupuncture. And I found an acupuncturist in Dallas who gave me acupuncture with electro acupuncture. So it was very intense. And in the community of Ramsay Hunt syndrome, I've now heard that it's not ideal, that it makes your nerves be all wacky. I don't know, Barbie, if it was good or bad. I am now going through some tension and synkinesis that wasn't present before, and I'm kind of struggling right now because my cheek is starting to pull up, and my face is gonna, but I have to tell you, it just felt like it was the right thing to do. And I learned to just kind of feel it, like just follow my gut. And I did that, and I'm really grateful because I've recovered the most of my, I mean, I can smile, I can talk.
Yeah, well, that for you, I'm sure, career-wise is nuts.
Yeah.
So, I was really lucky. My partner at the time, he was super supportive. We had young kids, and he was super supportive. And my heart goes out to people who don't have that support or don't feel that they can be open around them, which I really, if that is one of you watching right now, I really encourage you to ask for help, because I will say that I strongly believe in the research that I have done is that Bell's palsy happens to people who are people pleasers, and we put everybody else first and for help. And so in the healing process, you need to do that. And if you don't learn and start doing that and using your voice for what you need, then it might take a long to heal, or it might happen again. Who knows? And you're nodding your head, and I will tell you, everyone watching, that I have not had an Instagram live where anybody one single time has said that they don't resonate with that. So that's kind of my goal too on the backside, is just to kind of find out. I mean, it doesn't mean that if you're a people pleaser, you're going to get Bell's palsy. I mean, that's just like, I'm not a scientist, but it's just fascinating to me. That kind of stuff is fascinating, where we need to learn self-care. When I first went to a therapist and they're like, what do you do for self-care? And I'm like, oh, I don't even know what that is. Like, I go for a pedicure once in a while. Like, I don't know. Right. So now it's like, I think people with Bell's palsy, facial paralysis, Ramsay Hunt, it's about your mouth being paralyzed. And I think that we are real advocates for self-care, because we had to learn it. Like, it's not something where you just realize it. It's like, oh, I guess I better figure this out.
Yeah. It's funny so Bell's palsy is just, I don't know how much your viewers know and understand what you went through as Bell's palsy, but it's not Ramsay Hunt, correct?
So Ramsay Hunt, well, actually, funnily enough, I don't have Bell's palsy. I learned since starting this feed, Bell's palsy is if it clears up 100%. That's Bell's palsy, which is why first go in, they'll tell you have Bell's palsy if your face is paralyzed, because they're not going to know whether it's going to rectify or not. Ramsay Hunt is if you do have the shingles present like you had. And for myself, it's a different virus. It's, that one that starts with a Z. So that, which did the damage, I have synkinesis in that. So it is quite funny when I was talking to Jody for the Sentinel facial recovery. I'm like, well, that's great, since I based all my stuff on having Bell's palsy, and I don't even have it. But that's okay. It's the most common way of describing it.
I guess really where I was headed is, I don't know what symptoms you have, but for me, it was funny that I had the vertigo, which didn't allow me to walk, right? Then I had the tinnitus, which didn't allow me to like listen properly because, you know,
Right.
you can't hear well. It's like the
Yeah.
screaming thing in your ear. And then I had the thing in the mouth, which didn't let me speak. And for a second there, I was like, what the fuck? And then I realized this is literally my body saying, sit your ass down,
Mm-hmm.
listen,
Yeah.
right? And stop talking and just be quiet, be in self. And I was like, okay. I mean, because you said people pleasing, however you phrase that,
Mm-hmm.
it basically means we are people who are always going outwards of ourselves doing something,
Yeah.
whether it's, you know, to advance a career, whether it's to raise a child, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
to please a partner or take care of a parent or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the hell, but we do not prioritize ourselves. This was for me the big question. Why did this happen? And they said stress. And I thought, and I was about to argue. And at the end of the day, no matter how much I preach as a coach that self-care is vital, you know, it's
Oh,
really,
yeah.
we teach what we have to learn, you know? Um, and this was my body's way and the universe, if you want to see it in a holistic way, saying, you know, it's time for you to stop and reassess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get
Yeah.
in the pen
So
box for a little bit, you know, really,
for sure.
you
Yeah,
know,
for sure. Yeah, for
need to
sure. And
learn what
so,
we need. And never mind like having the guts to go get what you need. Like that's great. But figuring it out first.
yeah, yeah. And this whole thing of listening to yourself, right? Because again, back to the whole thing of we need information.
Yeah.
We are wired to say, when am I healing? How am I healing? How
Mm-hmm.
fast? And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm sure that you and every one of your viewers go through the vortex of you sit in front of Google and you put every single
Yeah.
query available. And before you know it, you are in a horrific tunnel because either nothing applies to you and you feel isolated and insane, or
Mm-hmm.
everything is terrifying because everything applies to you and then you feel like you're dying the next day. And
So
so
yeah.
that's where you realize information is not enough, and
Mm-hmm.
information is not going to give me anything right now that I truly need in order to be okay.
Yeah.
And so then you shift to inspiration, you
Yeah.
shift to intuition, which this intuition, this God-given, you know, sense of how to be, where to be, and where to look for the next, you know, resource to move forward, which
Yeah.
sometimes means take a fucking nap,
So
right?
yeah,
And sometimes
a lot of
means,
times, okay? Like the
yeah,
quote that says sometimes a hot bath and a good sleep can solve like whatever
yeah,
that quote is. Really
yeah,
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In sobriety, we're always like, you know, just go take a nap. I always say, eat the fucking cake. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, eat the cake and then have
Yeah,
the nap.
there you
Yeah.
go. There you
And
go.
then you
There's
just
nothing
in
that a
case.
good nap and a hamburger can't fix. Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, there's a lot more deeper work to do, but at least you
Yeah.
begin there, you
It'll
know?
help.
So yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then the evolution of, you know, once you think you're on the other side, something happens. I thought
Oh.
I was kind of on the upside until about a month and a half ago when my face started to twitch again. And
Mm-hmm.
now when I do this to my lips, now my eye like just
Yeah.
feels like it contorts, you know. And then every morning I wake up and there's like a bit of a snarl. I'm like, ugh,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, what is happening? I was fine already.
Yeah.
And it, you know, or you and I were talking the other day, I think you posted something about the cold, and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't cold in Texas during the summer when this happened, and it's been cold now. And
Mm-hmm.
every night that I take out my dog, I'm like, I'm wearing actually my mask the way
Yeah.
that we wear it outside because it protects my face,
Yeah.
you know. And because otherwise it hurts, and you're like, oh,
Mhm.
this is gonna continue for a while.
Well, yeah, you're kind of new to the club here, you know. Well, lucky you.
Thank you.
Yeah, cold is really bad. And if you're noticing that it is pulling like that, that's the cold, and getting some stretches and exercises going. I don't know if you haven't. I had a question earlier from somebody about how early. So acupuncture sooner the better is what I've heard. And then also physical therapy, about 1 to 2 weeks to KHT, can't remember who it was that asked, is to see a physical therapist. But you need to find a physical therapist that knows about facial paralysis, because it is kind of unique, and there is some that you can get online. You can DM me later and I will give you the contact information for that viewer that was asking those questions. But yeah, that's the stretching and the like keeping it warm. Some of the girls on here are talking about a face roller. Like there's all those things. Facial cupping, we're talking to her tomorrow. I think we're doing facial cupping. So there's all these things, which of course I like we're talking about. I always recommend the things that like a facial massage. It's not going to hurt. Essential oils, not going to hurt. Give it a shot. Acupuncture, not going to hurt. Anything like, and also intuitively looking inside, being like, what do I need right now? I love your comment of the nap. Okay, so that can come in any kind of way. Like, do I need a massage on my face? Ask my partner. Like, I'll ask my husband to just like massage and keep it warm and like send love. Like to send love at the same time as doing it. Like he'll like send love. Like you're heard, you're important. Those kinds of things help me. And
yeah, for sure. My coach suggested craniosacral therapy and craniosacral massage. And so I researched and went to 2 different healers here in Dallas. And it was so funny because it's the vibe, you know. One of them just felt like that was the person that I wanted to work with, you know. And so and even though the other one had, I guess, more qualifications or credentials, it just like it's following your intuition. Who do I want to bring in this journey with me and playing? I mean, that's really also the other thing, is that if you are anguished and you are resisting your body and you are resisting your reality and you're just kind of fighting the truth and the facts that are happening, you're going to not be an advocate for your body. Like you are fighting your own healing. And so that's why it's important to say, all right, I'm in this journey. Like I am on the roller coaster. I can resist and tense up, or I can just kind of say, all right, I'm in this. I mean, and I'm not saying let's enjoy it, but you know, I mean, let's enjoy it.
But accept it. Accept for what you have.
Exactly.
You know, and in your business coaching about, and it is just so fascinating too, like everything's so interrelated. You know, you're finding the resemblance between addiction recovery and Bell's palsy, where at first you'd be like, what? Like it's not even so related. The journey,
so related.
Lessons we learn, the effect on the self that you're projecting outwards was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, for sure.
It's your face, right? So
for sure. And learning to find what you need, Barbie, because I remember, like at the beginning of my sobriety, I remember going to social events or parties where I kept resisting the fact that my inside was screaming to get the hell out of there, you know, because I didn't know how to prioritize my recovery and myself, my sobriety, myself, my soul, my serenity. And so I would push and push and push. And eventually, after many relapses or miserable nights, I realized, dude, all I need to say is I'm done. And then, you know, blow a kiss goodbye and get the hell out. I'm learning to I'm relearning to take care of myself like that. Like right before this, I took a nap. The routine of the day and the schedule of the day with all the boxes and the moving does not allow for me to take a nap. And I still took the freaking nap. And my partner said, get in bed, take a nap.
He's like, I don't want to deal with you. Take a nap.
And he knows, you know, that I don't know how to stop. My mom will be the same. You know, my son will be the same. They're like, take the bath, and so now I'm like, and so I'm learning to move in a different rhythm through life. Like I'm learning to slow down and to remind myself that it's not bad.
Yeah, like you said, and just the analogy of the boxes will still be there for you to pack later. They're gonna wait, you know.
Hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you're back now.
Yeah, okay.
There was a little bit of a
I have movers calling me.
Well, we said we were going to go at half an hour, and let's wrap it up because we got to get back to life. And we've been here half an hour. I could talk to you for like 4 hours. I think we could. So we'll definitely catch up.
Were there any questions? Were there any questions?
We didn't have many questions that came up, but what I am going to encourage people to do is post them in the comments. And, you know, Pamela and I are around and we can answer questions. We did have some questions about when to start the physical therapy. Another viewer did comment, and I will back that up as well, is when you are new, you know, a week or two in, don't push it. So I was one of those people that was like, oh, you know, like I am all the time, like, okay, well, tell me what to do and I will do it. Like, if you tell me to do the exercises twice a day, I'm going to do them 4 times, because then it's going to be twice as fast and, you know, we're going to get it done. And right. I'm not a person that can be like, okay, well, Barbie, it's going to take 6 months. Well, why, you know, let's just do it now. And that is going to cause synkinesis for people. Someone asked that earlier. So like Pamela is saying, it is a physical thing, but it is 99% of a journey and an inside thing. So, I encourage, and like Pamela was saying earlier, to listen to yourself. You know what you need. So you collect all the information, make sure it's from reputable sources, because there's a lot of stuff out there that really makes me cringe for palsy. Collect reputable sources, and then just like you were saying, sit with yourself and be like, does this make sense for me? Is this something that makes sense for me and my body, my journey, self-care? But yeah, taking care of yourself, getting help, reaching out to people, chatting with people who have stuff in common, I think is one of the best things.
And I think the best thing that, like, if I could sum it up all in one line, is be a guardian of your thoughts. Like, you can't control what your face is doing. You can't control how your body feels. You can't control if one day your tinnitus is off the roof and you can't stand the clanking of dishes in the dishwasher, you know? Yeah, but what you can control is what you're thinking about what's going on. And, you know, and if your thoughts are really loud and they're really ugly and they're telling you that this is horrific, then find, you know, this is an invitation to learn how to meditate, to learn how to connect with, you know, your faith, to learn how to connect with people that are going through the same thing. It is so similar to the process of recovery from addiction. You have to do you know, my body, my mind, my spirit, and who is out there for me to connect with and know that I'm not alone, who can guide me, you know? And then of course, for me, the vital is the connection with higher power, you know, with my own conception of faith and of God. So,
and I loved how you wrap that up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll let you get back to moving, but we are going to do this again very soon.
Yes, I would love to. I would love to. You're invited to come and help me.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with the moving. Make sure you take a lot of naps.
I will. I will.
Thank you so much. We'll be in touch.
My pleasure, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know.